Nigeria's aviation sector will grow speedily if these three factors are present. Let's get to know the three factors from our guest who was speaking at a recent event in Lagos.
Let's start with win-win partnerships. How many of our airlines today in Nigeria are interlining, are code-sharing, have joint operations or joint ventures with each other? How many of our airlines today are working together? If you look around the world, even in Africa, look at Ethiopian Airlines. Look at the partnership they have with Sky, with Malawian, with Zambia. Why has no Nigerian airline entered into such partnerships with airlines within Nigeria or outside Nigeria? Look at IAG, which consists of British Airways, Iberia, Aer Lingus, Vueling. The point I'm trying to make is that in this very complex world of aviation, partnerships are the key to success. Look at Delta and Virgin. As big as Virgin is, it actually had to do a venture with Delta to secure its future. So no matter how big or small you are, partnerships are a way of moving forward. Can you imagine if all the airlines in Nigeria, the domestic airlines, let's say they all need 20 pilots. And how many airlines do we have? Maybe 10. And they collectively approached a training college to outsource this together. Can you imagine the cost savings that would be made? Enabling environment. Look at the availability and cost of fuel. Look at the availability and cost of finance. Double-digit interest rates. How on earth can you make money in a dollar-based industry when you have double-digit interest rates? It's very difficult to raise finance in Nigeria to fund an airline, and an airline involves a lot of capital expenditure. I would like to plead with the federal government of Nigeria to lower interest rates for aviation. It did it in the past for another industry sector. And I really believe that if we are to effectively harness the power, the economic and social power of air transport, the government of Nigeria needs to introduce a more dedicated, a more thorough, a more thoughtful approach to aviation development. 5-6 million, less than Lagos. So what we are saying is that Lagos, not to talk of Nigeria, have more people than Singapore and Dubai, and yet Singapore and Dubai are global aviation hubs. Why? Because their governments adopted the correct business model to promote, to drive aviation through government policies. We need to do that here in Nigeria to be able to move forward. So at the moment, we do not have an enabling environment, but we're on our way there. Open skies, it's been interesting. It's only in Africa we talk so much. I remember in 1988, Yamoussoukro was born. 30 years later, it has not been implemented. And yet, if you look at the European Union, they started to talk about liberal skies after Africa. And yet they've moved so far ahead, and we're so far behind. Of course, there are challenges with open skies. To some, it's a threat, and to others, it's a prospect of making money. But the fact is, if we want to grow and thrive and flourish as an aviation industry, we have to open our skies, and we have to be prepared for that. There will be winners, but I'm afraid there also will be casualties, airline casualties, many. And that is why many African governments are protecting their skies. While they're signing the agreement of open skies, they're actually protecting it. You need strong airlines. This is the profitability of airlines around the world. So you could see on the far side, airlines were making a lot of losses. Now, foreign airlines dominate the skies of Nigeria. That would allow foreign airlines to control 90% of all traffic to and from their country. That shows us how critical the situation is in Nigeria. The vast majority of airlines from outside Nigeria control our traffic. And who are the passengers? Majority of Nigerians. Something is wrong somewhere.
33,000 feet up in the cloudless sky, passengers sitting or sleeping and probably enjoying the journey, eating a meal or powering through the movie channels. Here are 5 more weird things to think about when you fly. On land, water boils at 100 degrees. On a plane, however, the reduced pressure interferes with the boiling process and the water starts to boil at around 90 degrees. This is why it's hard to get a good tasting coffee when you're thousands of feet in the air. It's true, food does taste different when you're flying. Passengers are more dehydrated on a plane than when they're on the ground. The atmosphere dries out the mouth, nose, and also the taste buds. And as the plane climbs higher, the change in air pressure numbs about a third of the taste buds, causing food to taste bland. And that's according to experts. Each company has their own internal and unique rules. However, there's one rule identical for all of them. The first and the second pilots, without any exceptions, must eat different dishes. The first pilot eats the food given in the first and in the business class, while the second is served with separate dishes. Thereby, airlines are reducing the risk of poisoning of all crew, leaving no one to fly the plane. Samoa Air, a South Pacific carrier, was the first to announce that they were to start charging passengers based on their weight. This sparked a debate on how overweight passengers should be treated when flying. It's still a grey area, but subsequently, Southwest and also American Airlines currently state on their website that you must buy 2 seats if you cannot fit into one. The wings are designed to move in this way, and this movement is entirely normal because what is happening is that the upward and downward movements of the plane's aluminium alloy body are rippling out along the wings. The tips of a large airliner wing, which can be 30 meters long, can move up and down as much as 3 meters during flight. This may seem very worrying, but is well within their tolerance for bending. The important thing to remember is that no modern aircraft has ever been brought down by turbulence, although passengers have been injured or even killed, either because they weren't wearing seat belts and hit their heads on the ceiling, or because heavy luggage fell out of the overhead lockers. Turbulence is caused by sudden change, either in temperature or wind direction in the outside air, and is entirely normal. As for the lightning, pilots are able to avoid most storms and fly round or above them.
When Aviation This Week returns, Newsflash rolls up. Plus, a peep into the launch of a new national carrier for the country. Do join us again.